The United States of America, home to 300 million people. Each of us assuming that if we obey the law and mind our own business, there's no reason for anyone to pay much attention to us. That's what we might think, but we would be wrong.
Records are being created of activities that used to be wholly private.
There are a lot of companies that you've never heard about, but they've heard something about you.
Detailed personal information is being collected every day and used in ways we could never imagine.
Most Americans are in your database somewhere, right?
Also billions of transactions.
Internet searches are being recorded.
They keep everything. Your political leanings, your religious leanings, your medical concerns, your sexual concerns.
Driving habits are being monitored.
Vehicle speed, engine speed, whether the brake's on or off.
Employees are surveilled.
He's heading back to the shop right now.
Shoppers are observed, recorded, and analyzed.
That's an alert right there.
And personal phone calls?
I was under the impression that nobody could steal my cell phone records. As it turns out, I was very, very wrong.
We are living through a revolution, a surveillance revolution empowered by technology.
Literally within 5 to 7 minutes, we've identified the individual.
It's technology that can be put to good use to stop terrorists and solve crimes. But if information falls into the wrong hands, or it's just plain wrong, it can ruin lives.
I went without a job for months.
Tough 4 months.
Very, very difficult for me.
From implantable chips
They make a small incision in your arm.
to data mining companies,
Well, how secure is that database?
we take an unprecedented look at the powerful business of personal information.
We're not mining through the personal lives of innocent Americans.
The government is now working with big business to take surveillance and information gathering to levels that were once the stuff of science fiction.
Big Brother, if allowed to happen, will happen. And our job as responsible human beings in society is to make sure that that does not occur.
It was a horrific automobile collision.
It was the biggest tragedy in the state of Michigan. The entire family was wiped out.
In May 2005, a drunk driver, speeding and out of control on this road in Farmington Hills, Michigan, slammed his Yukon Denali SUV into a car carrying Judith Weinstein, her 12-year-old son, Alex, and 9-year-old son, Sam. All three were killed.
It's my understanding this matter is going to be a plea, is that correct?
49-year-old Thomas Wellinger, the driver of the Yukon, was charged with 3 counts of second-degree murder. Crucial evidence used against him was obtained from a device in his own car, a device that was tracking his driving without his knowledge. If you've bought a car in the last few years, chances are you have one too. It is known as an event data recorder, or EDR, also referred to as a black box. It captures what happens in an automobile in the seconds before and after its airbag is released.
Ken Frazee on behalf of the people of the state of Michigan.
Oakland County Prosecutor Ken Frazee says the data recovered from the black box has played a crucial role in a number of his cases, including this one.
Your Honor, the police... The data that was testified to in court indicates that the defendant was traveling consistently at approximately 70 miles an hour. Now, this was in excess of the speed limit. The engine throttle speed also shows that the throttle was heavily engaged, and for the 5 seconds prior to impact, the black box demonstrated in this case that there was no attempt at braking. It's very powerful information because of the fact that it is a solid technology
Santa Barbara, California-based Vetronics sells the technology that allows law enforcement to download data from a car's black box. Andrew Bunch is a product developer.
There's a few different data parameters that are recorded. We have vehicle speed, engine speed, percent throttle, and then brake switch status, which...
This device, it's called a black box, but it's not black.
Right. This is actually an airbag control module. Any vehicle that has an airbag system is going to have an airbag control module installed in it. And whether or not it records data is,
You can stick a chip in anything these days to record this information.
Exactly. So that after deployment of the airbags, it will actually record some of the data that we've seen here.
The conditions for these pleas that were entered today is that you will never drive a motor vehicle for the rest of your life. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Partly because of the undisputed evidence provided by the black box, Wellinger pled no contest during pretrial motions. He will serve a minimum of 19 years in jail.
There are some people who argue that this could be a death sentence for you in view of your age. Are you aware of that?
In the case of Thomas Wellinger, an advance in technology worked to put a menace to society behind bars. That is one of the benefits of the world we live in, where technology of all types is able to capture evidence of our behavior, evidence that can be used to find and punish those guilty of committing crimes. But privacy advocates warn that while devices such as the black box offer advantages, they can also carry risks. A minor technological advance, for example, could enable a black box to monitor your driving all the time, allowing the police to issue speeding tickets without officers actually being present, or insurance companies to judge your driving habits before determining your rates.
With knowledge...
George Washington University law professor Daniel Solove is an expert on privacy law.
I think that a lot of the purposes for gathering information are quite benign. What's bad is the fact that the person whose information is being collected is so out of the loop in this process, has no rights, because right now it's the case where they'll gather the information, they'll use it for one purpose, it's great, but secretly they could be using it for another purpose.
One example, the Global Positioning System, GPS as it's known, is now used commercially to help people navigate their automobiles. But it's not hard to go from use to abuse. Consider the case of Eric Adero.
I didn't know about it. These guys were tracking me. They knew each and every street that I'd been in Las Vegas, where I'd stayed, stopped, slept.
In December of 2003, Adero booked a rental car to drive round trip from his home in Los Angeles to Las Vegas. When he returned the car in Los Angeles, he received a bill for over $1,400, about $1,200 more than the fee he'd been quoted.
And I asked why. He told me to use the vehicle to go out of the state of California.
Unbeknownst to Adero, the rental car company imposed an additional charge for driving out of state. And somehow, the agent knew he had gone to Las Vegas.
Then I said, how did you know I went to Las Vegas? They said, we know you went to Las Vegas. Then I said, prove it that I went to Las Vegas.
The rental car agent handed Adero this map that showed he had crossed the California state line on December 29th at 12:29 p.m.
This guy finally told me there was a GPS system pre-installed in the vehicle. No one had told me about that.
The GPS chip in Adero's car allowed the rental car company to track his every move. As soon as the car touched Nevada soil, he was charged $1 for every mile driven for the entire trip.
And so there was, my privacy was all gone.
In October of 2004, Adero and 139 others took part in a class action suit against Acceleron Corporation, the owner of 2 Payless rental car franchises in San Francisco. The suit alleged that customers were unaware the company was using GPS technology to track their driving and were surprised by the penalties to drive out of state. The lawsuit was settled. Adero and the others were refunded the additional fees charged for driving outside California. It's not just devices in cars that are tracking people's behavior.
A lot of devices that people are using, everyday devices like printers and computers and cell phones, are including